This is CBS 47 Action News Jax at noon. Local coverage you can count on.
The decision on whether to impose a half-cent sales tax increase to benefit Clay County schools is now in the hands of a judge. Welcome to Action News Jax at noon. I'm Dawn Lopez.
And I'm Phil Amato. The school board has been battling the county commission over whether it has the right to impose that tax. Action News Jax' Brittany Donovan is live in Green Cove Springs this afternoon. And Brittany, both sides made their final arguments just a little while ago.
And Phil and Dawn, families here in Clay County could find out if they're going to be able to vote on this year as soon as Friday. Now, that hearing here at the Clay County Courthouse lasted about 90 minutes, with the school board saying it's the commission's job to put it on the ballot this year, but commissioners say that's just too rushed. Now, let's get you caught up. We do have some photos to show you of some of the work the district says is needed. The school board passed a half-cent sales tax resolution that would let voters decide whether the tax is needed in November 2019. But commissioners sent that plan back to the school board. They say parts of the plan aren't in line with state statutes on what the money can be spent on, and a November 2019 vote is too rushed. But the school board says the repairs and maintenance can't wait.
I think the judge understands that time is of the essence, and so I know that he wants to have time to really think about this, study the law, and I trust that he will rule accordingly.
That's a big decision. It's over $400 million in taxes over 30 years. And I think as many people as possible should be able to vote on it.
And I asked the commission chairman what he has to say to families who are concerned about sending their kids to these aging schools, his response, and what the school board chairperson says you can do to see the problems yourself, all new tonight at 5. Reporting live in Green Cove Springs, Brittany Donovan, CBS 47, Action News Jax.
Right now at noon, JSO is investigating a triple shooting in Springfield. One person was killed, 2 others are being treated for their injuries. Police were called here to the corner of Clark and East 2nd Street. That's about a mile northwest of the stadium. Police aren't revealing exactly who those victims are, but they say that it was a man who died and another man and a woman who were hurt.
The 2 missing children we told you about all morning long have been found safe. The girls ages 9 and 13 disappeared from the Hyde Park area in Jacksonville. Now, at the time, police told us they left home after an argument. Well, it turns out they called an Uber driver who took them to a friend's house. The driver then called police when he realized they were the ones who were missing. Now, an Action News Jax investigation revealed that local Uber and Lyft drivers are not supposed to pick up minors who aren't with an adult. That's company policy. With their parents' permission, we tailed drivers as they picked up a pair of young teens. In some cases, the drivers told us they didn't even know they weren't supposed to pick up children.
Right now, a Jacksonville pastor is facing charges in a child sex abuse case out of Maryland that allegedly happened more than a decade ago. Cameron Giovanelli turned himself over to police in Baltimore this week. He serves as an associate pastor at Emmanuel Baptist Church off Normandy Boulevard. The case goes back to 2007, but the investigation started in 2018 when the victim went to police. In a podcast interview from May, the alleged victim talked about what gave her the courage to speak up.
I think having my son and becoming a mom and just feeling like I owed it to other moms to get the word out there. This guy is out there and could do the same thing to your kid.
An attorney for the pastor says that he maintains his innocence and plans to plead not guilty.
A 5-year-old from Yulee who drowned at a water park is being laid to rest right now. Action News Jax told you Monday that Kaylin Lawson drowned in a wave pool in Daytona Beach. His mom says the trip was an early birthday present.
One man is under arrest after walking into a Missouri Walmart armed with a rifle, ammo, while recording himself. Police say that the man was seen walking around the store in body armor and military fatigues. There were no shots fired, no one was hurt. An off-duty firefighter saw what happened, held him at gunpoint until police arrived.
An Action News Jax investigation is uncovering more about a law that allows the court to take guns away from potentially dangerous people. It's called the Red Flag Law, or Risk Protection Order. That measure went into effect last March, a month after the Parkland shooting. In January, there were more than 700 at-risk protection orders issued. Today, that number has more than doubled. So far this year, JSO says that they have issued 67.
Reasonable people know this. Even people who are suffering from mental conditions shouldn't have guns.
In Clay County, new numbers show the agency has issued a total of 3 so far this year. We asked St. Johns County, and they told us they issued 2 this year, with 1 currently under review. Action News Jax is constantly fighting to bring you the information you need to protect yourself and your family. Make sure to tune in tonight at 8:30 for a special Action News Jax Investigates. You'll see some of our most hard-hitting work exposing dangers in our community and digging deeper into the issues that affect your life.
President Trump says that he's been talking with Republicans, Democrats, and the NRA to get gun control legislation that everyone can approve of. Democrats don't want that conversation to start now in Congress and not after recess. President Trump says he's working the phones to drum up support for new gun control measures with Democrats and Republicans in Congress.
I think with a lot of success that we have, I think I have a greater influence now over the Senate and over the House. I think we can get something really good done.
The president says Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is fully on board with the need for new gun control measures. And in a radio interview Thursday, McConnell says that he's begun bipartisan talks to figure out which laws can actually pass a divided Congress.
Background checks and red flags would probably lead the discussion, but a lot of other things will come up as well. But what we can't do is fail to pass something.
But McConnell says nothing will be done until after the Senate's August recess, despite calls from Democrats to reconvene Congress now. President Trump has also had multiple phone calls with Wayne LaPierre, the head of the National Rifle Association.
Well, we'll see where the NRA will be. But we have to have meaningful background checks.
In a statement Thursday, LaPierre said the NRA opposes any legislation that unfairly infringes upon the rights of law-abiding citizens and called gun control proposals currently being floated soundbite solutions.
I think in the end, Wayne and the NRA will either be there or maybe will be a little bit more neutral, and that would be okay too.
A senior administration official says the president realizes he needs to back some form of gun control, even if the NRA doesn't get on board.
In Mandarin, call police if you see this stolen trailer right here. These are photos of the trailer, which belonged to Art of Dance. The company says it was stolen this week and has everything they need for rehearsals and recitals inside. It was last seen parked behind their building on Old St. Augustine Road.
Summer break is almost over. We are less than 72 hours away now from one of the biggest back-to-school days our area has seen in years. On Monday, 8 local public school districts will return to class. We have it listed right here for August 12th. That includes Duval, St. Johns, Nassau, Putnam counties. And then on Tuesday, Clay County goes back to school. And with schools starting Tuesday in Clay County, the district has now nearly doubled its Guardian program.
That's right. Action News Jax Russell Colburn spoke exclusively with one of those Guardians about the high-stakes job they're signing up for.
For security reasons, the Guardians' names and faces are kept confidential. They don't want a potential threat to know who they are. So when they're roaming these halls, like here at Fleming Island High School, they're essentially invisible.
Our job is to stop an active assailant. Protect the kids at all costs.
Thursday, Action News Jax spoke exclusively with one of those Guardians. In addition to school police, Clay County will now have 27 of them in schools, allowing the county to have 2 armed guards in nearly every school.
As you see, from the shooting that happened in Dayton, Ohio, less than 30 seconds, you look at the mass casualties we had. We need to make sure that we stop that as quickly as possible, so that way we don't have a greater loss of life.
John Ward, the school district's director of operations, safety, and security, says the Guardian salaries cost taxpayers just under $1 million. Action News Jax asked if having 2 armed officers on campus is redundant and too pricey.
It's the safety of our kids. In the times we're in nowadays, I think it's truly that's the safety and security of our children, and you cannot put a price tag on that.
Ward added the schools with 2 officers are chosen strategically, and the 2 men or women will never be in the same area within the school. The Guardians are only guaranteed this school year, and the board will decide what happens next year. However long they're here, the Guardians say they're prepared to do whatever it takes to protect our kids.
Even if it means giving up my own life, I'll do what's necessary.
In Clay County, Russell Colburn, CBS 47 Action News Jax.
Action News Jax is getting your family ready for back to school. We're going to show you how local school districts are making classrooms safer and highlight the great work of local teachers. I even talked with St. Johns County's Teacher of the Year about his success reaching kids. Now tune in tonight at 8 on CBS47 for Action News Jax Family Focus presents Back to School.
Well, the Jaguars kicked off their first preseason game of their 25th season with an ugly loss last night, but thankfully it's just the preseason, right? It's also an easier pill to swallow, too, because more than 30 players were kept out of the game because of injury or just because of a coaching decision. The Ravens took advantage of that, too, shutting out the Jags and putting 29 points on the board. Hopefully, more Jaguar starters play next Thursday, though, right? Against the Eagles. It's the first home preseason game, and Action Sports Jax is your official Jaguar stations. Make sure to tune in to Fox 30 at 7 for Countdown to Kickoff. That's followed by game coverage as the Jags take on the Eagles Thursday night. Right now, Lord Stanley's Cup is on display in St. Augustine. That's right, for those who aren't hockey fans, it's the famous championship trophy. It's huge. St. Louis Blues assistant coach and St. Augustine local Mike Van Ryn bringing the trophy to the Casa Monica Resort and Spa. In fact, you could check out that trophy now until 2 o'clock this afternoon.
The St. Johns River Ferry is now back up and running. Services resumed at 6 a.m. and all trips, by the way, today are free. Action News Jax told you Wednesday when JTA announced service would resume, and the ferry had some issues. We told you with the propeller and was docked for the last 2 weeks for repairs.
From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Gary Wiedenwald. Right now, feels like temperatures already above 100 degrees in many local neighborhoods. How high they go this afternoon and into your weekend. Plus, when we see a few showers in the First Alert 7-day forecast.
Battling pediatric cancer with art, how it's helping young patients heal and inspire others in their own challenges.
And facing firing, the reason why 6 Orlando officers who responded to the Pulse nightclub shooting could be terminated.
What to watch, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
There's a new exhibit opening up tomorrow at the Museum of Contemporary Art that'll feature artwork from children who have spent time at Wolfson's Children's Hospital.
Action News Jack's Alicia Tarancon spoke with one young artist from Jack's Beach who says art helped him heal during his difficult battle with cancer.
If you come to the 5th floor of Mocha, you'll catch artwork by 16 different pediatric patients. But we talked with one artist in particular who used his artwork to battle a rare form of leukemia.
This is the Grizzler. It's a concoction of a grizzly bear and a black widow spider.
This is 12-year-old Joshua Ribeiro, or Junior as he likes to be called. In October, his mother told us he was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a rare form of cancer.
It was very difficult. It's the hardest thing in my life I had to deal with.
But it didn't stop his love of art. It was Art with a Heart, a local nonprofit that works with hospitals around our area that helped him heal through this difficult time. Junior was at Wolfson Children's Hospital for a month, working alongside other patients to create these works of art.
It just brings me so much joy when I get to paint and do art and just have fun and create random things no matter what they are.
Now his artwork will be on display at Mocha for the public to see. Junior hopes it'll inspire others going through the same thing.
Art is a great way to keep you positive and keep your hopes up and just know that no matter how hard it can get, you're gonna do just fine.
And coming up at 5, Junior's mother shows us how working on this piece of artwork has helped her son Junior become a full-time student again. Reporting in downtown, Alicia Tarancon, CBS47 Action News Jax.
The Orlando police officer who took a bullet to his tactical helmet during the Pulse nightclub attack could be fired. Action News Jax told you about Mike Napolitano in the days since that 2016 attack. He's one of about a half dozen officers who haven't been back to duty since the attack. The police department says it understands it can be difficult for officers to return to work, but it had to make that call.
Well, if you're looking to add to your family, you can take a new furry friend home. This weekend is your chance to adopt a kitten for free. Now, this is Sunday at the Jacksonville Humane Society. Stop by the shelter from noon until 7 on Beach Boulevard near Southside Boulevard.
Now, certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
Hi, First Alert meteorologist Garrett Edenwald. A lot of heat, oppressive and dangerous heat here across the Deep South and including portions of our area. We're seeing the heat advisory in effect right now until 6 p.m. for these areas shaded in orange here, and that's because a little bit more moisture in the atmosphere here closer to the coastal counties versus inland. That's why we're seeing that criteria met. About 108 forecast for the feels like temperatures this afternoon to 109 in some spots, but air temperatures are already in the low 90s right now in Jacksonville, upper 80s in Lake City, low 90s for you in Brunswick. You factor in that humidity and it feels like 104 in Jacksonville already, feels like 106 in St. Augustine, but you notice the areas outside of the advisory there are in the mid 90s with the feels like temperatures. So still pretty hot, but definitely verifying there with that heat advisory closer to the coast. You can see air temperatures will be in the lower to mid 90s for this afternoon. Inland lower 90s closer to the beaches as we head inland, mid to upper 90s in spots and lower to mid 90s there for you in Lake City over to Glen St. Mary. So the feels like forecast this afternoon continues to be 105, 106, and even some spots again up to 108 for this afternoon. In other words, very hot for today. So we really want to limit the outdoor exposure for this afternoon. Don't really want to go to the outdoor activities unless maybe you're at the beach. I zoomed this in just selfishly because I wanted to cool off by looking at the Action News Jax First Alert Skycam network here with some nice waves, 2 to 3 footers likely there at the immediate coast. But it's hot at the coast all the way to the beaches. The west offshore wind at 6 miles per hour, helping those numbers get to the low 90s. Hour by hour at the coast, you see temperatures still hanging out in the low 90s, feeling like 100 plus. We'll be in the 80s air temperature wise by 6, 7, and 8 p.m., but an isolated shower possible for today. 5-speed First Alert Doppler HD is not tracking those showers yet over our area. A few to the west of Alachua County and west of I-75, but we are watching no rain right now on First Alert Doppler HD for downtown Jacksonville. As we head through the afternoon, though, in the hour-by-hour forecast, we'll see some isolated showers, perhaps a few rumbles of thunder begin to develop And then as we head through the evening commute, just a few hit-and-miss showers and thunderstorms for today. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish will be here tracking that for you. But as we head through your evening plans, it should be drying out. Still going to be pretty muggy, though, as your night out forecast looks like this. An isolated shower lingering through 7 o'clock, but low 80s through the evening, but it'll still feel like the 90s with that humidity. Your Action News Jax First Alert 7-day forecast with that weekend always in view. Some isolated to widely scattered coverage of showers and storms for Saturday and into Sunday. We increase the coverage a bit as we head through this hour-by-hour forecast. You can see the sea breeze getting going. The heating of the day helps us get some of those showers and thunderstorms moving inland through the afternoon. And then the low 90s into next week with afternoon storms. You can always get this forecast any time of the day throughout your weekend right there at actionnewsjax.com.
Coming up new at noon, a free flight on Frontier, which Americans can take a no-cost trip this coming Tuesday.
And more mercury in our fish, why scientists say climate change is to blame, and which types of fish are more likely to have higher levels.
Well, get this, if your last name is Green, you can fly for free on Frontier Airlines next Tuesday. It's part of a Go Green campaign. Your name can have an E or no E to qualify. It only applies to passengers with that name, not their traveling companions, so pretty much one ticket unless you have your friend named Green too. In Jacksonville, Frontier flies nonstop to a bunch of major cities like Denver, Colorado, Chicago, Philadelphia, St. Louis, and a lot more. So I guess that's going to have some people seeing red if they're not named Green.
Or green with envy. Scientists at Harvard believe that climate change could be to blame for elevating levels of mercury in some types of fish. A new study shows that mercury levels are rising in cod, bluefin tuna, and swordfish. Experts say that warmer ocean waters can cause fish to exert themselves more, which means that they have to consume more fish than normal, which means that they are eating more mercury.
The FDA says it's investigating 127 reports of seizures, fainting, or tremors possibly related to e-cigarettes. The reported cases happened between 2010 and 2019 with first-time and experienced e-cigarette users. The agency has not determined if vaping has not been directly linked to that case. All right, final look at the forecast before we leave you.
It's hot.
Yeah, it is
and
hot,
this afternoon will be in the mid-90s. Feels like temperatures 105 to 109 in spots. Just a few isolated showers and storms. We pick up the coverage by the weekend, especially on Sunday afternoon, but dry mornings with highs in the low to mid-90s.
I'm going to have to look at that beach shot again just to
I know,
cool
right?
off.
Just go early morning, late in the evening.
Have a good day, everyone.
Wyatt Ours next.